Good morning. It's active stretching today. It's April 11th, 2024. It's amazing that we're in the fourth month of this year. Wow. So let's start with doing a little bit of stability work. Some of you might have noticed yesterday was quite an interesting, unstable day for me. So all that means is that I need to kind of recalibrate, and I'm hoping that you will also recalibrate as well. So the first thing we're going to do is a single leg lift. And all we're going to do is cross over our midline. So I'm going to lift one leg up. I'm going to show it to you forwards. Okay. I'm going to then hinge over. I'm going to hinge over. Now, if you need a chair, a wall, or whatever, you can do that. So I'll come over here. So here's my table. So I'm going to lift up. I'm going to, my standing leg is slightly bent. I'm going to bend or hinge over at my hip. My hand now is, so right side, right hand goes to my left leg, down to the floor, and then back. And that's all I can do. So we're going to try that. Right leg is going to come up just a little bit. Now you're going to hinge over, bring the leg back. And now let's reach over and touch your left, right in front of your left foot on the floor if you can, and then come back up. Put your foot down, okay, and then we begin again. So here's lifting up our right leg, bring it back, hinge over, get that right arm now to touch the left side of the floor and come back up, put your leg down, your foot down. And now last one, here's 5. Bring that leg back, hinge over. Right hand comes down and you touch the floor. And if you lose your balance like I did, then you have something to hold on to. Okay, so now we're going to do the left leg. So again, if you need something really is helpful, we're going to bring our left leg up. We're going to hinge over. Now I'm going to take my left hand and bring it over. Now, again, if I have my balance, so I'm going to now touch the right side or right in front of my right foot, the floor, and then come back up. Now, I'm obviously using something to support myself. So you might not need that. So lift your left leg up for 2, hinge over, bring that leg back. It's bent. Left arm is going to come down in front of that right foot and see if you can keep yourself stable. Still working on it today. So now the third time, lift your leg up in front, then bring it back, hinging over, trying to get my balance. You are too. Touch the front of your right foot or the floor. And now here's 4. And let's hinge over. And left arm touches the floor, come back up. And now last one. And touch the floor, keeping your balance as best as possible. And that's it. So this is consistently something I am working on. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do, wide sumo squat, and we're going to go all the way down. So I'm going to squat down. Whoa. So if you're like me, your knees might be tight, your ankles might be tight. So this is really a helpful position to get into and balance. Now I am pushing my elbows up against my knees, okay, kind of stabilize myself. So you want to do the same thing. All right, now in just a moment, after we've sat here for a little while, we're going to go and we're going to kind of shift our weight from one foot to the other, but we're going to just take another moment here to kind of get ourselves, your hips are really dropping down, right? Now I'm going to shift over to my left side, just subtle movement, and then over to my right. So I'm just shifting and to my right. So we're going to do that 5 times. So we're shifting over, 1, and to the right, and 2. Now my heels are on the floor. Yours are too. 3. You should feel a big stretch in your knees and in your ankles. There's 4, and last one, 5, and opposite side to the right, and that's it. Now, I want you to think about, without using your hands, see if you can stand up. Not always easy, but you did it. Nice job. Wow. All right. That was good. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do a little back opening. So let's get onto the floor on all 4s, okay? I'm going to take my right hand to the side of my head, and I'm going to first, I'll do it this way, because I want to show you the threading the needle. When we go through, our arm is straight and we drop our shoulder, our hip comes up into the sky. And then I'm going to take my hand and put it to the side of my head. And now I'm going to bring my elbow up to the ceiling and look up to the ceiling as well. So now we're going to unstretch our hand. So it's going to be nice and straight. We're going to start with 1. We're going to drop and thread the needle. So our hand goes through. We have to drop our shoulder down. Your butt is down, or up, I should say. And now you're going to bring that arm up. Put your hand on your head and get that elbow up to the ceiling and look at that elbow as well. And now for 2, thread the needle, drop that shoulder down. And now bring that arm through, hand on your head, and look up at that elbow. And we're opening up our back. And now we're going through 4, drop the shoulder, and just take a moment when you are down here, breathing in and out. And now your hand on your head and look up. And last one for 5, thread the needle, breathe in and out. And now come back up and put your hand on your head and look up at your right elbow pointing to the ceiling. Now put that right arm down. We're going to now bring our left arm down and through, and we're going to drop that left shoulder down again, opening up the back. And now we're going to breathe in and out. And now we're going to take that arm out, put your hand on top of your head, and now really open up that back. Elbow comes up as high as it can to the ceiling. And then you're going to bring that arm straight through, dropping it down for 2, breathe in and out. And now bringing it out, put your hand on your head and open up the back, getting that elbow as far up to the ceiling as you can. And now sliding it through for 3, breathe in and out. And now put your hand on your head and look up to the ceiling. And let's do 4, slide through, thread the needle, breathe in and out. And now put the hand on top of your head and look up. And last one for 5. Drop the shoulder. Breathe in and out. And now take that hand, put it on the top of your head and look up to the ceiling. And now put your both hands on the floor. Nice job. Okay. So now we're going to do a little hip opening. So the first thing that we'll be doing is oh yeah. So let me see how I'm going to show this to you. Okay, I'll show it to you this way. I'm going to take one leg, bend it. The other leg is going to be crossed over. I'm going to lift my leg off the floor, and I'm just going to swing to the side, to the right side, and then to the left side. Okay, that's all I'm doing. Pulling up with my core and swinging over to the right and then to the left, and then we'll do the other leg. So your hands are out at the side here. Okay, stabilizing yourself. Your foot is off the floor. Okay, so we're going to go over to the side. Let's swing over. So your shoulders stay on the floor. And now we're going to rotate and pendulum over to the left side. Again, think about your shoulders being on the floor. You're going to feel a big stretch in your hips. Lift up with your core. And we're doing this 5 times. So here's 2. Keeping your shoulders on the floor. They're going to want to lift up. And go to the other side. You're breathing. And now lift up again to the thirds. So this is, I'm going to my right. Now I'm going to gently roll over my knee to the left. Keeping my shoulders. Now I'm feeling a fantastic stretch in my hip and the and glute area, the glute medius, okay, gluteus medius. And now we're going to lift up and over 4 and over to the left again. Shoulders on the floor, right? And now lift up with your core. Last one, here's 5. And lift that knee up and over to the left and allow it to just drop over, shoulders on the floor. And now lift up, uncross your legs. Now my left leg is going to cross over my right. I'm going to lift my right leg up. And now I'm going to go over to my left. And then I'm going to go over to the right. Again, when you drop over, keep thinking about your shoulders being on the floor. Okay, so I'm going to just move myself over a little bit more. So we're going to lift over now back. Here's 2. So feel a stretch. Look for the stretch that's happening. Lift up with your core and then drop over to your right side. Now, on my right side, I have to really pay attention to my shoulders staying on the floor. Now lift up with your core and then drop to the left side. So feel that stretch. Let it rest for a moment. Lift up with your core and over to the right. And now this is the 4th one. So now think about your shoulder that wants to lift off. See if you can press it down. Lift up and over to the left side here. And then up one more time to the right. Shoulders on the floor. Drop those knees down as best as they can. And now lift up with the core. And then last one here, over to the left. Lift up again with your core and uncross your legs. Okay, nice. Okay, so we're going to just do a few more things here. So I'm going to suggest that we cross over again. So I'm going to just start, since I was working the left, I'm going to cross my left leg over. I'm going to now pull with both hands my right leg that's underneath. I'm going to drop the foot. Okay, so we're going to do just a nice little pulsing sensation. We've done this a bazillion times. I always want you to think about with your elbow pushing that knee, that left knee, push it away. All right, so I'm going to just kind of stabilize that knee and not let it fall down. And now we're going to pulse gently. 1, release. 2, 3, your leg is relaxed. 4, and 5. Okay, now we're going to do the active hold. Back leg, that right leg is now at a 90-degree angle. And now I'm going to pull forward 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now I'm going to straighten that leg, that right leg, nice and straight. Flex that foot, push that knee that wants to fall forward away. And now pulse again for 5. 1, just a gentle little pulse. 2, 3, keep that foot flexed. 4 and 5. And now put that back leg down, uncross the leg. Now let's do the other side. So now my right leg is going to cross over my left. I'm going to grab my left leg. I'm going to drop the heel. I'm going to push that right knee away from me with my elbow, with my right elbow. So you should feel just by pushing it away, there's a stretch happening. So make sure your heel is dropped, and now we pulse for 5. 1, gentle. 2, pulling it carefully and gently. 3, 4, small movement. 5. Okay, active hold. Your knee is now at a 90-degree angle from your thigh, or your shin is at a 90-degree angle from your thigh. Okay, and now we're going to pulse again. 1, 2, 3. Push that knee away if it's starting to fall down. 4, 5. And now straighten that left leg, flex the foot, push that knee, and now let's pulse again for 5. 1, 2. Nice gentle movement. 3, 4, and 5. And now put that left leg down, uncross your legs. Okay, wow. Hopefully you're feeling this. Now I'm going to take my band, my loop, big loop. I'm now going to put it around my left leg. Okay, right. My right and left arm are holding each side of the loop. So my left leg is now, I'm going to push my foot through the band so that my knee is as straight as possible. My right leg is bent. Okay, so I'm now going to again do the pulsing. We're stretching our hamstring. And now I want you to, again, you're going to pull the leg forward, pull it forward 2, see if you can keep that leg as straight as possible. 3, you should really feel a stretch here. 4 and 5. Okay, now I'm going to move. You don't need to move, but I'm just going to show you. Now that we have this position here, we're going to take the left hand, left leg. I'm going to put my left hand through both loops. I'm going to put my right hand down flat on the floor, and I'm going to drop that left leg down and out to the side. You're going to feel a great stretch in your inner thigh. And now lift that leg up with a little help from your arm. And now we'll begin. So here's 1 to the side. Get that knee as straight as possible. And you're not touching the floor necessarily, and bring the leg up. Trying to keep your leg as straight as possible. So you're pushing and flexing your foot. Okay, so we're going to do 2 now. Drop it down to the side and lift up. And now 3, drop it down. Feel a nice stretch and lift it up. And 4, so you're kind of guiding it with your hands and lift up, guiding it up. And last one, 5, and lift up. Nice. Okay, so now you're going to take that band off the left, and now you're going to put the band around your right leg or foot. And now again, your left leg is bent, right? And now you're going to have your right leg flexing. You're holding the loop on with each hand. Now think about that knee is as straight as possible because you're flexing that right foot. So push through your heel. And so your lower back is flat on the floor. And now we're going to pulse. So you're going to bring the foot over your chest now, and then release it so it's over your hip. And over 2, and release. 3, Keep that knee as straight as possible and release. Push through the heel, 4, and release, and 5, and release. Okay, I have to move over a little bit. So now we're gonna take our right hand, hold both loops with our right leg, push through your heel. And now we're going to drop that leg over to the side. It's straight. I want you to now just drop it over. And now with your hand helping your leg, bring it back up. So my left hand is flat on the floor at an angle here to kind of help balance myself when I drop my leg over. So now drop it for the second time over. Get a nice stretch in your inner thigh. And now lift it up with your hand and not as much work in your leg. And now 3, bring it over. Keep pushing through your heel and lift up. And then over for 4. And up. And over for 5. Whew. And back up. And now bend your knee. Grab the loop, put it to the side. And now I want you to think about when you get up, roll to your side, and then push up. Okay, so we're gonna sit up. All right, so you want to just sit up gradually. Let's get some water. We're gonna do now some shoulder openings and some work in our shoulders and back and chest. So first thing is I'm just gonna stay right now on my knees, okay? You can stand up. I'm gonna put a fabric band around my wrist. I'm gonna bend my elbows. Okay, now I'm gonna pull my stomach in. So I'm really thinking about how my belly button is in, my chest is up. I'm gonna now take my hands and bring them down, and I'm going to pulse out, 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 and raise my arms up to my shoulders, and then pulse out and go down, down, and down. So it looks like this. I'm pushing out 3, 4, 5. So my hands are pretty much in front of my chest, and then I'm going to go down. 3, 4, 5. So about 5 pulses up and down. So we're going to do this 5 times. So we're going to start below at the lower with our arms mostly straight. And now we're going to pulse out to, we're strengthening our shoulders. And now we're going to go down. And then 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down. A lot of us have shoulder issues, and this is very helpful in strengthening our shoulders. And we're going to stretch in just a minute here, but one more here. So we go up about 5 times, and now pulse down for 5. Okay, that was it. Now you can put that down. All right, so you're saying, well, what am I going to do now? Well, we're going to open up our shoulders. So we're going to take the band now. I'm on my knees because it's just easier to do this right here. I'm going to put my hands. Now you can put your thumbs around your band if that helps. You're going to keep your arms as straight as possible, and you're going to lift up. And then this is the big piece where we're going to open up our chest. So you have to push out and, oops, I'm going to do this way. Push out and down. Okay, so then I'm going to push out. Now my arm is slightly bent. I can feel it because I'm very tight. So we're going to go up. I'm actually going to put my most of my palm in my hand, and my thumbs are going to be out. and I'm gonna push out and behind me. Okay, so let's start. We're gonna go up and over. And again, if your arms are slightly bent, that's fine, because that's just how it is, right? And we're gonna come down. We're opening up our chest and our shoulders. So let's go up for 2. Bring your arms up. See if you can straighten your arms and elbows, and now push out and down. And now out. And this is really good for those hunched shoulders. And up. This is 3. And now the opposite way, 4. And come back to the back. Push out. And now the last one for 5. Ooh. And down. And now in front and to the back. And now you can release your band. Wow. Always so helpful. So remember, if you have your band and you're sitting at your computer and you start to feel all hunched over, this is the great exercise to do, because it automatically opens up your chest, gets your back straight. You're pulling in, hopefully, your belly button a little bit, and that's what we want. We want good posture. Okay, so now we're going to open up our hips a little more. So we're going to do a frog rock. So a frog rock is you're going to take your knees wide. So notice I'm on my my mat, because it hurts my knees otherwise too much. So I'm going to put my feet, sides of my feet together, and I'm going to have my knees wide. I'm going to put my hands a little bit in front of me, and I'm going to drop my hip forward. And then I'm going to rock back. I'm going to rock forward and drop my hip down. Okay, so we're going to do this now for 5. So let's all start with our butt on top of our heels. And now we're going to rock forward, keeping your soles of the sides of your feet together, and drop your hip down as best as you can. And now rock back. Okay, so you're sitting on your heels, and now we're rocking forward for 2. Drop the hip, look at me, and then now you're going to drop your hip back to your heels, and you're looking at the floor. And now 4, drop your hip forward, look at me, or at least in front of you, wherever you are. And now sit back on your heels. And last one, 5. And now back on your heels. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to spread my feet. So my feet now are on the side, outside, if you can see that they're spread out. Okay, I'm going to do the same movement, but this time I'm going to drop. Again, it's another great hip stretch. Keeping my feet, my knee to my arch is all on the floor. And now I'm going to push back. Whew. Now, when I push back, that's where I really feel this. So you're going to push back as best as you can. You're not going to go as far back. And then you're going to go forward, drop the hip. So we're going to start now. So we're going to go push back, breathe, open that hip, and then drop. And this is 2. Push to the back. Now I feel it a little bit in my knees. I could probably have more towels under my knees. 3, and push back. And 4, woo, and push back. Oh, I don't know about you, but this is really tight. And now drop forward, and keeping your feet on the floor, the sides on the floor, push back. And now bring your legs in, your knees in. Okay, give your knees a little rest, okay? But you should have felt that in your hip. Whew, I sure did. Okay, now the last thing that we're gonna do is gonna be a clamshell, a reclined clamshell. So what that looks like is I'm gonna have my feet together. I'm gonna, my knees are gonna go wide. Then I'm gonna bring my knees in and I'm gonna separate my feet, trying to keep my knees together, separating my feet, and then I'm going to push out my knees, okay? So I don't really need to have my hands here. I'm just trying to figure out what my body parts are doing. So soles of your feet are either together or the edges. And now I'm going to bring my knees in and separate my feet. And now bring your feet together and open your knees. So we're just going to keep doing this. 2. And now separate your knees together, feet apart. And here's 4. Knees together, feet apart. And separate knees and knees together and feet apart. And now put your feet down together. Now we're going to do a little reclined windshield wiper. So our knees are bent. My hands are at a diagonal at my side. I'm just going to drop my knees over. Again, opening up the chest and the back. And again, a little bit of the hip here. And I'll lift up. So I'm just going to rotate side to side. Again, thinking about the shoulders always being as best as you can on the floor. So we're going to just drop our hip over to the right. And now bring it up and over to the left. So you're going to drop your knees, try to get that shoulder that wants to lift up, down on the floor, lift up again with your core and over to the right. And now to the left. This is 2. And over 3. And lift up. And over 4. And lift up. And here's 5. And lift up and to your left. Drop your knees over. And now lift your knees so they're in neutral position, feet are flat on the floor. Okay, you just stay there. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna get, I'm just gonna look at my notes here for just a moment. Oh yeah. So let's do a hip lunge, okay? So we've been doing a lot with the reclining, opening up our hips, but we're gonna now do a little bit more of a hamstring and a hip lunge. What I want us to start with is we're on our knees again, my hands are on my hips. So I'm gonna start with a side hip lunge. So I'm gonna drop to my side, my right leg, right foot is pointing to my right. I'm gonna just drop into that. I'm gonna come up to neutral. Then I'm gonna put my right leg in front and drop over and drop my hip down. So we're gonna move from our side to the front for 1, okay? So I'm gonna start on my right and I'm gonna drop down, push back up, and now to the front, drop the hip, and now back to neutral, and to the side for 2, and front for 2. Now, think about your chest, push your chest forward. Now, I'm still facing you when I drop to my side, okay? I'm not twisting my torso. I'm trying not to. So to the side, drop, and front, drop. And last one, to the side, drop, and to the front, drop. Now let's put that knee down. And now we're going to take our left leg to the side. Okay, so left leg is ready, pointing to your left. Let's hinge over. So now I really notice that I want to twist. So think about your torso facing me and staying in that position. you should feel a big stretch right here in your upper thigh. Okay, now we're gonna go to the front, drop forward. Your hip comes down. Now to the side for 2. And forward. Push back neutral, and now to the side for 3. Whew. It gets easier and easier, and to the front. Now my heel is totally on the floor in each position. Side to the 4, and side 4 in front. And now we're doing 5 to the side, left side. And now to the front. Drop the hip. Nice. Okay, put your knee down to the floor and just rest. And now, okay, so now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna just do this to the side. I just want to check the time. Okay, so I'm gonna put one heel out. So I'm putting my left leg out. We've done this many times. And we're gonna hinge over. And I'm gonna see if I can, again, if I could have my back completely straight, I'm going to hinge over, okay? I'm pushing my butt back as I hinge over, trying to keep my chest pushed out, trying to also stretch my hamstring. So you might have to maneuver your heel, okay? But you're going to drop down. And I want you to just stay in this position and breathe in and out, okay? Now, once you've done that, then move your heel forward if you can. See if you can get your hands closer down to the floor. Breathe in and out. Now you're pushing your butt back, getting that hamstring to to stretch. And now your fingers might or might not touch. Push your butt back, breathe in and out. Now get that heel moving forward a little bit. Notice if you can get your hands down to the floor or not. Think about pushing your chest toward your knee. See if this knee can stay straight. And now breathe in and out. Now I'm going to push that heel forward again. I'm going to move my hands down a little bit more. Now, think about your hips again. They're facing your foot, and you're pushing your butt back, and you're hinging at your hip, right? So maybe you're now getting that knee seemingly straight. You're also getting your chest closer to that knee. Move your hands forward. This is the last one. Breathe in and out. See if that chest can come down to the knee. And now I want you to now just rotate out in front so the leg is to the side. Pull that leg in. Okay, so now we're going to do the other leg, right leg. So I'm going to take this right leg, straighten it out. And again, I'm going to think about hinging over from my hip. I'm contemplating, not necessarily doing it very well, but I'm contemplating that my back is as straight as possible, trying to get my chest down to this knee. So I have to kind of maneuver my heels. You're going to probably do the same thing. So I can't, when I start, I'm not even close to touching the floor. So breathe in and out. Now try to get that chest and hinging at your hip. Bring your chest down to your knee. Now, if you can touch the floor, that's great. When you do, think about pushing your hip or your butt back. And now think about your back being as straight as possible. That's not happening for me as much as I'd like. Breathe in and out. Now push your heel forward. And now move your hands maybe further down onto the floor. Breathe in and out. Now, see if you can move the heel. See if you get your hands further down. Breathe in and out. Now, last one, maneuver the heel. See if you can get your hands further down. Breathe. Now, think about your hip. You want to really stretch and push your hip back. So here we go. Breathe in and out. Get the chest to come down. And now come up. And now turn your torso to face the camera. Your leg is to the side, pull it in. Okay, nice job. Beautiful. All right. So now, what I'd like to do is, all right, let's do a child's pose. So the child's pose is we sit back on our hips, right? Our arms are stretched out. I'm thinking about your back now. And so I'm sitting back on my heels. Now my hands, I'm going to just maneuver my hips forward, keeping my hands in front, and I'm going to drop my hip down. Okay, we did that with the frog pose. Now we're going to do it with our knees together. So we're going to drop our hips down to our heels. Now think about breathing in and out when you stretch. We're going to start now. So here's one. Drop your hip down. Look in front. Breathe in and out. And now push your butt back and down towards your heels. And now forward. And drop it down for two. Look in front. And now push your butt back to your heel. You're going to now be facing the floor with your eyes looking down at the mat. Breathe in and out. And now three. Move forward. Drop your hip down. Look in front of you. Breathe in and out. And now let's release and push that butt back to the heels. Breathe in and out. Feel your back stretch and release. And now for four, drop the hip forward, look in front of you. And we are working a lot of the muscles we've been using this last week. And we're going to do the last one now. So we're going to go forward, drop the hip, look in front of you. Oh, and now drop the hip back to your heels and breathe in and out. Just rest there for a moment. You can get your elbows down now to the floor. Great. And now you're going to sit up. Okay. We're going to do some ab vacuums because I always think they're really helpful for really good posture and all of that stuff, which is also helping our waistline and giving us something to think about, which is breathing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do 15 of these. I know in the past I've only done 10. We're going up. Okay, so that's all we have time for. So you're going to put one hand below your belly button, the other above. I want you to think about when you're in a relaxed position, your lower back is going to have a slight arch, but once you have breathed in the oxygen and then you breathe it out, you're going to push your hips down to the floor so that your lower back is flat, and you're going to breathe all that air, push all that air out, lift up your diaphragm, right? And then you're going to hold it down to the floor until you can't breathe anymore or hold your breath anymore. And then you're going to release your breath. When you release your breath, I want you to just notice that natural arch under your back. Okay. So we're going to do this 15 times. You're going to have to count for yourself because we're probably all doing it a different, anyway, you know what I mean? We're just going to do it at our own pace. So here we go. And breathe out. Lift up that diaphragm, press down to the floor. And when you're done, you release and relax your lower back. Then you're going to breathe in, and when you exhale, everything comes flat to the floor. And when you can't hold your breath anymore, relax. Take a breath in and out. And now, again, here's number 3. I'm letting you count for yourself. Okay, that was my 5. Bring that diaphragm up. Press everything to the floor. Release your breath when you're ready. Okay, I'm on my 10. I don't know where you're at, but let's see if we can do 5 more. So I'm going to go slightly faster just because of the time. This is my 13. And this is my 15. Whew. Okay, so I'm going to pull myself up with my knee, sitting up. So whatever and however many you did, fantastic job. You are a rock star, and we are getting stretched and strong, feeling fit. I love Johanna's feet. This is good.